Hey, welcome back to Engineers Workshop for a Thanksgiving shop update. I apologize, I'm a little bit off schedule here. It is after Thanksgiving and even all our turkey leftovers are about gone. But most of this was filmed in the week or so prior to the Thanksgiving holiday, so it's a good snapshot of where I'm at with upgrades to the shop. So let's summarize where we're at. I worked mostly on infrastructure, getting the internet box, the 12U cabinet, piped in. There was 3 conduits that I had to get run to that box, and I'll show you some details of that after the synopsis. But the short story is I've got a power conduit coming in with a duplex receptacle for the uninterruptible power supply. I've got a second conduit coming in, which is the internet cable from outside the building. So inside the building, it is fully protected inside a 1/2-inch conduit. And then I have a 1-inch conduit coming in from the top. And that is going, I currently have it going just past the halfway point of the building. It's going to go over to the far side and down that wall, and then continuing on with a trench eventually with fiber optic cable over to our other property. And I'm going to double run it, so there's going to be 2 cables with 12 strands each coming to this building. Instead of double running those cables to my small barn where I was going to beam the signal with a it's either a 2.5 or a 5 gigahertz transponder, I'm going to run 1 cable to that small barn, and I'm going to run enough cable to go past the barn to my house. I have an underground conduit, an empty underground conduit from the small barn to the house. And if I can pull blow a pull line through that conduit, I can pull the fiber all the way from this building directly to my house. And that's where I need the internet signal ultimately. So I can get it to the barn up and running, use the transponders to beam the signal to the house short term. Long term, I will have a cable of fiber directly to the house. But real short term, I'm going to try something. I brought the transponder over here, and I'm going to hook it up into this internet signal. And I know the direction my house is, and I have a pole that will allow me to get it up high enough to be higher than this building. I'm going to try to beam the signal over to my receiving transponder in the house. Who knows? Maybe it will work. I'm not holding a lot of hope that it will, because there are trees in the way, but a lot of them, lost their leaves. There's some pines, but we'll see if I can pick up a signal for these transponders that are supposed to be good for like 10 kilometers. And this is right around 2,000 feet. So I'll get it up and running, get it aimed, and then we'll go over there and we'll see if we've got a signal. I'll follow up with some details of getting these things run in place and just the other things that have been going on in and around the shop. So we'll cut to the action. FedEx is here with my cable spool. "5,000 feet of fiber optic." Uh-oh. Uh-oh. FedEx guy's stuck. Well, that turned into a bit of a fiasco with the FedEx driver getting stuck twice over here. Originally was going to have it, delivered to the house, but thankfully he agreed to come over here. I said, oh yeah, there's plenty of room to turn around, no problems. And he picked the boggiest spot, kind of pulled into it before I even got out of the car. And we ended up having to pull him out with my tractor and Mike Beck's truck. So that's unloaded. Got to build a carrier for this and let it ride on. I'll have to show you the trailer that I'm going to use to hold this thing, pull it behind an ATV and unspool it. But well, at least it's here, so that's another step in the right direction. I went over to see what Brennan is up to. I think he's planting his native trees on the property. How's it going?
Fine.
So what you up to?
Planting a bunch of native trees, shrubs.
So the tall ones that you see here by the truck are serviceberry.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. One's over here somewhere.
Oh, you planted that one right in the middle of where the FedEx guy got stuck.
Yeah, so people don't drive there anymore.
That'd be a good deterrent. How big will those get?
Maybe 30 feet. They're kind of smallish. Probably not that big here because soil's full of rocks and shit.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And what are you setting up to plant here?
This is the last one I can do today. This is a witch hazel.
Oh, I've heard of witch hazel.
That's another smallish tree.
You know what they use that for?
It's like homeopathic bullshit.
Well, I mean, no, it does have a use. You have to look it up. It's kind of funny.
Oh, for dousing too?
No?
Well,
I thought that's willow.
Wikipedia page says people use it for dousing too.
No, I mean witch hazel, the extract.
Is it boner medicine or something?
Yeah, no, it's for the other end. It's for like when
it might actually do that. Yeah.
when you have I think when people have hemorrhoid problems and stuff, it's soothing or something like that.
As an essential oil, though.
As an essential oil.
Smells. Yeah. Rocks.
More rocks. You know, you are being cognizant of where the power line is, right?
Not here, right?
That's the live transformer, and that comes diagonally back towards the meter. So I would imagine that you were not close to it here. What is this little one?
Those are mountain laurel.
Oh, okay. How big will that get?
Again, depends on because of the rocks, but that's a small evergreen.
Mm-hmm. And the witch hazel?
Yeah, it's the same deal. Bigger than these, but...
And this one was, what was this one, maple?
Yeah.
This one was a maple. We got to get the mulch on top of these roots for a couple of these.
That one's a red bud.
And then we've got pin oak, another maple.
One American beech out there.
American beech, and that's another serviceberry.
Yeah.
working on, Brennan?
I'm reassembling the Spitfire chassis, at least the front end right now.
Looks like you're getting pretty close.
Yeah, I still need to get the steering rack on. That's going to be kind of a pain in the ass because I've got to get lock nuts under here and run the bolts in from the top. This is the first time the sway bar has actually been on it.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't have one when I got the car. No.
Oh, so you bought a sway bar.
Yeah.
Is that a performance sway bar or a standard sway bar?
It's just a sway bar.
Well, a sway bar is better than no sway bar.
Yeah. Seems to handle well enough without it, but should be better.
Is the position of the steering rack the same as when it was factory?
Kinda. It might be like an inch or so further forwards, but not enough to hurt it.
Okay.
I think, yeah, it was probably like here-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not gonna bother aligning it right now. Just get it on there to hold the wheels in place.
Right. I see the front wheels kind of droop down at an angle too.
I mean, there's no weight on them.
No, I mean, it's like with the springs,
Ah, well, yeah.
they can't inwards.
Fully extended like this, yeah, a little bit. Might need your help putting the differential on at some point.
Okay. Well, I need your help moving the ladder to put conduit on, so we'll help each other out. I forgot to bring the doggone drill over. I got to go back for that.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm going to do that. Carry on. Got another item over here for storage. Nice Honda Shadow. I think this is a buddy of my son's. And it's here just like the reason most bikes are not at their true homes. It's because the parents don't know about it or don't approve of it. It's starting to look like a car again. Where do we grab?
Probably hook your arm under here. All right, down.
Yay. Why don't we set the back end on the horse just right back here, and then it's still up in the air enough to put that in.
Guess it'll be out of the way of the diff.
Hooked. Maybe you want to clamp this to the horse, or you know what? Drop a.
Where's it gonna go?
Well, drop a pin through there so that it can't slide off. Give me the big screwdriver.
Not gonna go anywhere.
Well, now it's not going to go anywhere.
Just take the sawhorse with it.
I will warn you, you're not going to like this. I have to extend this ladder. So these are pieces of LVL. Much less chance of failure with so many individual pieces of wood in here. But I have to extend this about 16 inches so that this ladder will be able to rest against my purlins on the ceiling. I'm going to test it first against the sidewall for the first run of conduit up into the eave and put a one-hole strap up there, so that way if, you know, for whatever reason these things don't hold up, this thing really can't fall but further against the sidewall. But I'm pretty confident that there won't be any issue with this. I'm going to clamp these on the underside of the side runners here with 16 inches projecting, and this way it will give me just a little bit more reach on the ladder. I don't have to climb up that high, I just have to be able to rest it against those purlins. So let's go ahead and let's do this. All right, well, let's do a test. Let's go after that big mound of bird poo. That's fairly disgusting. Stuff's pretty corrosive, so pretty good idea to get it out of here. I think we're going to be fine with this setup. Got a text from Xfinity that the line has been buried. So it looks like it has. And they put it in some kind of conduit. Look at the chunks of asphalt and stuff that are in the ground that they uncovered. They went through right through this swampy area here. I have to have my son put some flags on this so that he knows where this line is. He's going to plant walnut trees, seedlings, all through this field over here. Okay. Tapped right into that little device up there. Well, that's interesting. So this is a black cable. They had an orange cable laying on the ground when they installed this. They had this cable run all the way to the shop, and I guess what they do is they come and they roll out their cable that's in the conduit, put a joint and then another joint back at the building. So interesting way to do it. They wasted 260 foot of coax cable for 2 weeks that it was hooked up to just cut it and replace it with something else. That's okay. They get a check from me every month for forever, so I suppose they've got a business model worked out where they can throw away a couple hundred feet of cable one time for each customer to do it this way, because they've got that black cable now hooked in, and the white cable is what goes into the building. I guess they don't care if the red conduit gets filled up with water, because it will. I have a 1949 Westinghouse air brake compressor that needs some repair work. It's a really cool compressor, two-stage Y-type, high pressure cylinder on one side, low pressure on the other. And an ad came up in eBay for parts. The guy was parting it out. So he had rods, an oil pump. This is the lever that actuates the oil pump, pistons, and it was pretty reasonable. I made him an offer, but I figured I'm never gonna see these parts come up again. I didn't really need any of them, although it would be cool to have a spare oil pump. And I will mic the pistons, compare them to mine, and use whichever ones have the smallest amount of clearance. So I just wanted to get this stuff put away, make sure that everything survived the trip and the packaging. Amazing size difference in the pistons. There's the high pressure piston. He did say that the oil control ring was missing, so I knew that going into this. I don't know what's in there. Very nice. Has some scoring in it. I don't know if you can see that, but the insides of the pistons are painted, probably with like a Gliptol or something like that. This is really what I got this for. Is the oil pump assembly. So the way this works is there's a boss in the crankcase that this is a close fit into, and it pivots. And there's a little pin on the back of the crankshaft that engages with this plunger, and that's an eccentric, and so it will, pivoting on this, it will, as it goes around, it rocks in and out. And as this thing builds up pressure, this piston, which is gunked up and stuck, this piston pressurizes and pushes out against this lever. And then this lever will close the valve that then allows the pistons to build up pressure. So pretty slick system. So all that for $50 plus shipping. I considered that a bargain. Probably the last time I will ever see parts for a Westinghouse 3YC on eBay. There are rebuild kits for them. And I did ask this gentleman if he could get the valves out of the heads. He said, unfortunately, the heads were scrapped and they didn't take them apart. So this is all we've got from his unit. I'll oil them up good and put them into storage. Well, I think that's about enough of an update for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Things I'm doing, things my son's doing to keep things moving here. He's making good progress on the Spitfire. Almost ready to marry it up to the body. We've got to get the rear end into it and get the engine into it. And then I think he's going to continue to do some test fittings and see if he has to make any modifications in the cowl or the, I don't know how much of a transmission tunnel hump this thing has, but he does have to have the shifter come through there. So more on that later. The internet box magically finished itself through the time of conducting this video. So I'll show you a little bit more on how I ran the conduit using the ladder of death. Hopefully get that finished up. And when we get some breaks in the weather, we've got to start kind of surveying and making the route for that cable spool to run the fiber optic between this building and the next building. So I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas holiday. Lots of stuff going on this time of year. I'm just going to keep trying to get the videos out every week. I apologize for the delay on this one, but we had a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure you understand. So thanks again. Please like and subscribe. Shop's kind of come together, but slowly, and just we're doing the best we can here. So take care again, and as always, stay safe.